Thank you very much for the introduction. Pavlides means crazy. So Tetradecahedron 14, that's what we're celebrating today. And you know what I'm voting. So, do you recognize this building on the left? Can I see hands? How many know this building? It's supposed to, it's in Bézine. Does this work? No, it doesn't work. It's in Bézine, and it's based on the geometry of the Ware Phelan. Dennis Ware and Robert Phelan improved upon Lord Kelvin's approximation of the minimum tension surface, which is the bubble. And actually that's 14-sided too, the truncated octahedron, which became two polyhedra. And when you assemble them together, they create this shape. But the shape looks like when you're drinking beer and you look down and you look at the sides, very irregular. In fact, the architect had to work very hard to find a proper angle to slice through extremely irregular pattern. And one more thing, Pavlides. Some editor had named this structure Pavlides elastegrity. I see in the program it's still that. But he argued that it's a bunch of architects create a structure and it's named after them. Hoberman's sphere, Rubik cube. The guy was actually classically educated, and he said even Archimedes was an architect, Archimedes' crew. How many of you know he was the architect, naval architect of the greatest ship of antiquity? Anyway, we like to think of one of ours, architects. So you can see on the right all the various polymorphisms that result with further folding of this structure here. And I've talked about this structure, but note how one of the polymorphisms is the monododecahedron, which we presented with Professor Banshoff, you know, when we were celebrating dodecahedra. So monododecahedron, for those who don't know the definition, is that congruent faces, but not necessarily regular. So there are 12 of them. And when Tom took my trigonometry and tried to prove that in fact these are flat pentagons, he discovered there's a path that starts from the rhombic dodecahedron and ends with a degenerate one where the pentagon has opened up into the angle, opened up, so it's now a rectangle. And everything in between. The one I had folded is right here. The regular is in the middle. So it means along the continuum, the Wern-Phelan monododecahedron is somewhere there. So we try to fold it and laser cut it so it's precisely the correct bubble movement tetrahedron, and we made it out of paper. How cool. Approximation, never the bubbles themselves, because they're slight curves. Now, how did I find out about, so I was, Glenn Whitney did a workshop to build in full scale, and I saw brilliant mathematicians in tears trying to figure out how to put the angles correctly. And I was up there, actually, the collaborator, Alba Malagas, he talked to us about another project, was visiting from France for 1 year. And so we decided to simplify the method. Instead of folding out of paper and try to do this, we to 3D print it. So she provided the angles, and she created the file. In fact, in the file, she made it with the correct slight curve, but at that scale, you cannot see it. If you have a magnifying glass, you can see it. And oops, I overshot. No, I didn't overshoot, good. So, so you can see on the right how incredibly regular. That's what the Bayesian Olympic pool was based on, this geometry. And to really appreciate this geometry, I asked one of my students to create this so we can fly through the structure, through the empty space that Tetradecahedra occupy. So this is the 14-sided polyhedra that become very clear as we see the monohedra as solids. Oops. So that's it. Thank you very much. But I'm trying to invite you. Tomorrow we will be building this structure that can yield that. And those who help by building two big ones that will make the big sculpture will get one of those little ones out of acetate that jumps around. So thank you very much.